weekends, the weather is looking great this evening as we're tracking lots of sunshine overhead. Down here at the ground, temperatures will be gradually falling through the 70s. Tonight, we've got clear skies and temperatures falling to the 50s. Your full forecast is coming up on the WHIZ News. We're going to be hitting you around 12:01, which is only a few minutes away. In Newark, about 12:26 this afternoon. 2 severe thunderstorm warnings up for Coshocton and Muskingum, and even into far northern Perry until 1:15 this afternoon for 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. If you're in this yellow polygon, make sure that you remain indoors until the storm has fully passed your area and this warning polygon has been allowed to expire. Just a little bit west of Cambridge, they've had almost 7.5 inches in the last 7 days. Zanesville, a little over 3 inches, almost 5 inches in Norwich, about 4.5 inches in the Heath area. Unfortunately, yesterday's rain did lead to some flood situations, primarily in southern Muskingum County. Tonight, temperatures do fall very close to that freezing line. That is going to bring an increased threat of frost, and the National Weather Service does have frost advisories that will go into effect starting at midnight and ending at 8 a.m. So if you have any plants or vegetation you don't want getting any frost on, make sure you cover them up or bring them inside. Today was a colder than average day, primarily because we've got this big trough over the eastern United States that continues to persist, keeping the jet stream just a little farther south and pulling a lot of cold air in from Canada. No rain in schedule for this evening. We're just going to be under overcast conditions, but we can handle that. Temperatures gradually falling through the mid-50s. So for tonight, if you will be out and about, make sure you have that umbrella because we're looking at steady rainfall. Futurecast starts this evening, just a very small rain chance across the area, and then we have scattered to widespread showers passing through, and the overnight hours could be a little heavy at times, and the bulk of that rain starts to shift out of here in the morning of Saturday, and then we're left with plenty of sunshine. For Mother's Day, we are tracking temperatures in the 60s, but we could have a few morning and afternoon showers. Clouds will clear out as high pressure up north builds into the region. That'll bring some more sunshine for us on Tuesday, but then we're going to see evening clouds and then rain chances overnight thanks to this system here over southern Canada. Be below average, especially on Thursday, but then we transition to much warmer weather as we head into the weekend and next week. We've got a southern plains ridge that's going to be building north and east. High pressure system, it is circling clockwise, so you can imagine on the backside it is spinning a lot of warm, moist air into the region. Next week looks even warmer, still 90 degrees for the forecast high on Monday. That's only 2 degrees off from the record set back in 1962. It's not very common to have 90-degree days in May. The last time we did was in 2011. What a difference 24 hours can make. Yesterday we were in the upper 80s, and now we've got temperatures in the 50s, and the difference is over 30 degrees in a few spots. Warmest right now is in Caldwell. They're at almost 70 degrees. Cooler here in Zanesville at 63, but we're all the way down to 56 in Mount Vernon. That's because we've got a cold front passing through. Fire up that grill, maybe take a walk. Temperatures will gradually fall from the 70s down into the 60s. We'll see less sunshine. And radar looks pretty busy at the moment. It is showing area-wide light showers, and there's even a few pockets of moderate rain south of I-70 there, and there's even more rain upstream because if we zoom things out a little bit, we do have a surface low and attending warm front heading in our direction. Now, all these white lines you see here are surface pressures, and they are a little tight here, which will drive some breezy winds this evening into Saturday. Now, couple of headlines for us with this particular system. The first is excessive rainfall. The Weather Prediction Center has our entire viewing area under a slight risk. That's a 2 out of 4. We don't see that very often, and that just means scatter flash floods are possible. So always remember, turn around, don't drown. and don't ever drive into flood zones. And then the second headline is tomorrow, where we have a marginal risk of severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center. A marginal is a 1 out of 5, and the primary threat is tornadoes because a strong storm could spin up one very briefly in the afternoon and evening. So it makes you have multiple ways of receiving alert. Over 3 inches possible in the Zanesville area, and a lot of other spots could pick up similar values. And that's some good news because according to the U.S. Drought Monitor, we're starting to see some folks get into that abnormally dry category. If you're in central Morgan County, we've got a flood warning until 2 in the afternoon tomorrow. That's because the Muskingum River at McConnellsville is expected to crest at about 8.8 feet this evening. And so when you get to levels that high, that's going to lead to some flooding issues, particularly along Route 669 above Malta, nearby roads and low-lying areas. Overnight to the upper 40s, that's with clear skies and calm winds, no frontal boundaries, so that almost 30-degree drop is actually due to an effect called radiational cooling. We're probably the only state in the continental United States to get no rainfall over the next 6 days. Something you don't really see very often. We can thank a feature called an Omega block. It's been pretty quiet for the past couple of hours. That's all thanks to this massive high pressure system which came in from the Hudson Bay. It is now parked over the Great Lakes region. It's acting as this big area of sinking motion. That is, let's take a look at our pollen forecast. The highest count for tomorrow is going to be on the trees. Mold and weeds will be on the low end of the spectrum. Grass is going to be on that moderate side. But notice what happens once that moves out. We've got some sunshine. That's not good news because that helps to destabilize the atmosphere and lead to some stronger storms later on. If you're heading to Zane's Landing for the summer concert series, we're not looking at any rain falling while you're there. We're going to be between this humid and very humid and maybe even getting into that oppressive category in the middle of the week. That's where dew points will be between 75 and 80 degrees, and that's going to affect how those temperatures feel out there. Thursday is going to be our warmest day with highs in the upper 80s, but it's going to feel more like the mid 90s. So definitely stay hydrated out there. And we're continuing to gain daylight throughout the month of May. Zanesville will gain approximately 55 minutes more daylight throughout the month. This is the last full month that we will be gaining daylight because after the summer solstice, then we start to lose daylight. And also we have 2 full moons. When your air temperature is equal to your dew point temperature, the air cannot hold any more water vapor. This means if you cool the air even further, water vapor would actually have to come out of the atmosphere as a liquid. This is how we get things like clouds in the sky, which can result in precipitation. There's more moisture content with a temperature of 85 and a relative humidity of 50%. Versus a temperature of 25 and a relative humidity of 100%. That's simply because of the difference in dew point temperature. So that also means if we have an 85-degree day with a relative humidity of 50%, it's going to feel more humid than on a day where we have a temperature of 25 and a relative humidity of 100%. So if you want to know how dry or humid the air is going to be on a particular day, it's best to look at the dew point temperature. The formation of lightning starts with the separation of electric charges in a cloud. A channel of negative charge will descend from the base of the cloud toward the ground. We call that a stepped leader. And then down at the ground, a channel of positive charge will reach out to that step leader known as a streamer. And when these 2 channels meet, the resulting electrical transfer gives us lightning. A lightning can strike about 10 miles from a thunderstorm, which is why I always stress when you hear thunder, make sure you go indoors.